let's discuss a very important concept in hachi-machi known as feature masking. If you remember, one of the things that we need to do to train a model in hachi-machi is to specify the data either in CSV or JSON format. So something that I want to do here is run hachi-machi format as the same MIDI file that we use, but instead of a CSV file, I want to generate a JSON file. So this is going to be, or it's going to look fairly familiar. So we can see that in the CSV, we had a time column, which we can see here. And we also had pitch, velocity, duration, and channel information, which we can see over here. So we have pitch, velocity, duration, and MIDI channel. However, in the JSON format, we have an additional section at the top known as features. So I'll be discussing this at a later video, but what I want to focus on is this part where it says that feature at index 2 is going to be masked. And we can see that the CSV file also has a marking for the feature at index 2, which is this tilde sign. This is a way of specifying in CSV format that this feature is going to be masked. This is the JSON version of that same specification. Now, what does it mean in hachi-machi to have a masked feature? So if we take a look at this patch, we can see that I can either provide the input event with the duration, which is the feature that is being masked in this case. So I can either send the event with the duration or without the duration. And that means that the model is going to ignore that information because the model has been trained to figure out what the duration of the next event should be without seeing the duration in the input. So internally, whether I send, and I need to run the model here. So whether I send the duration or not, the model is going to be able to predict the next event. So internally, whether I provide it or not, hachi-machi is sort of removing that value from the input because the model was trained in that way. Now, that is not to be conflated with being able to provide inputs, incomplete inputs. So for instance, if I were to provide only two values where I'm providing, let's say, pitch and MIDI channel, that's going to generate an error on hachi-machi's side because that is not a valid option. So we can either provide the full event with the masked features or without the masked features, but we can't provide something in between. Now, if you want to learn more about feature masking, I would suggest looking at the documentation. So if I open the online documentation for hachi-machi, we can see that there is a section in the tutorials that talks about feature masking. So I would encourage you to sort of read this section if you want to learn more, because this is an extremely important thing to understand if you want to not only just train MIDI models, but any other kind of model where there is information that you are not going to know at the beginning of the event, such as the duration of a note.